Hi guys, good evening or afternoon, late afternoon. It's another live stream from me, Game Week 2 live stream Q&A. So for those in the chat or for those watching actually, just I don't know who's actually watching, so drop a comment in the chat. Chat obviously works because I've tested it. I'm getting quicker at testing chat. So that seems to be going well. So yeah, get your questions in. If you've got any benching headaches, captaincy, transfers, chips, anything to do with any of that, I will be here to answer it. I'm going to take you through my team selection, some of the issues or not issues, but some of the debates I'm having at the moment in my own team, because there are a few. There's quite a few kind of little decisions that I'm not quite sure on just yet. Like I tend to make a lot of decisions during the live stream. I'm not too sure if that's good or not. But yeah, so whoever's watching today, get your comments in, and yeah, so let's just I suppose let's look at my team. I'll talk you through what I have so far. Make sure everything is working. Everything is working, isn't it? I don't know if anyone's in the chat. Make sure it is working. Seems all good though. Let me just double check. Yep, seems all good. So this is my team currently. I've got Sanchez in goal, who he is one at the moment that I'm not too sure on. Because Burnley have actually got, I think they're ranked second best for clean sheets this week. They've obviously got home game against Sunderland, so Sanchez or Dubravka, depending on how safe I want to play it, is a decision I've got to make. It's a back three, obviously, as you can see: Pedro, Porro, Estev, Murillo. Pedro Porro, I think he's in at the moment. It's potentially maybe there is no debate in defence, because my only other option is Wan-Bissaka, and West Ham were really awful, weren't they, in the first round? So I think Porro is in for now. Obviously, multiple routes to points. If Thomas Frank plays a back three, back five, whatever you want to call it, I think he's obviously a better option, Porro, at wing back. He also takes set plays as well, right? So he's also, obviously without Maddison now, he's involved in set plays, which gives him more routes to points, which is good. So I think when I checked the odds, I think Tottenham were one of the lowest to keep a clean sheet. And yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense because it's City and they're not really good in Game Week 1. But also, this is a new Tottenham side, right? I mean, I'd understand those odds if Ange was still in charge, but I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of overestimating Thomas Frank and how tight he can make that defense against City. But I don't think they should be as low as they were. But yeah, also at the back is Estev, a home match against Sunderland. I actually rate his clean sheet odds better than any of my defensive players. Maybe not Sanchez. Sanchez has a good chance as well away at West Ham, but he's still away, and it's still a London derby, so you're never quite sure what you're going to get. Bench one: Gakpo, Reinders, or Strand. We're not too sure if Gakpo is going to play, are we? Because there's a lot of kind of confusion as to who is going to play, who's going to start. A lot of Liverpool fans think that Szoboszlai could potentially play at right back, which helps Wirtz and stuff, and obviously Gakpo keep their place. But there's also a few people who suggest that Gakpo or Wirtz could come out. So there's some risk with Gakpo based on how leaky. Reinders is obviously a good option as well, but he's got Tottenham, so I'm not so sure how much. I'd probably go for Strand Larsen there. I'm pretty sure that if Wolves have worst timing. My FPL app needs an update apparently. But I'm pretty sure that Wolves play Bournemouth this week, don't they? So I think I think you should definitely start Strand there. I'd start Strand personally. 100%. That's my first comment as well. So first comment on today's live stream. So yeah, definitely Strand on that. Just to double check that Wolves do play Bournemouth, I'm pretty sure they do. Yeah, they do. They play away from home, which I think is still a fine game for Wolves, isn't it? Because Bournemouth looked all over the place against Liverpool. So yeah, I honestly think that Esteve could. I honestly think that Esteve could potentially keep a clean sheet this week against Sunderland on it. I honestly, I'm kind of debating Dubravka still with Sanchez. I also have Murillo. I'm not entirely sure how Nottingham Forest are going to do this week away to Palace, but I do think the midweek games for Crystal Palace makes them less stronger going into it. So obviously a better chance of keeping a clean sheet there. So I'm fairly happy with Murillo. Moving into midfielders, I suppose there's a big debate in terms of captaincy, right? So captaincy is obviously a huge kind of debate this week because I don't think Newcastle away is an easy fixture for Liverpool. I don't think anyone thinks that. It's just there's been a lot of doubt around, the alternatives, right? You've got the likes of Palmer, who, as a Chelsea fan, is not where I want him to be. Like he's playing in a position that I'm not entirely keen on him, and he doesn't get the best out of him. So even against West Ham, slightly not sure. It's also an early game, right? It's Gandhi and all that, but I mean, I much prefer to have a captain on the Monday night. It's not a huge factor, obviously. It's not like make or break when what days a player, a captain plays. But I think there's something in early games, isn't there? That it feels like there is anyway. I've also got so yeah, Palmer is obviously a good captaincy option this week. I mean, I've considered captaining him as well. If we get the lineups and he's playing, if we see that he's playing different position than what he has been, then I think he's definitely a good option for captaincy. Again, it's the early kickoff, isn't it? And I suppose in a sense, I'm doubled up on the Chelsea attack, which doesn't feel. I mean, if I captained for Captain Palmer, it would be a kind of triple up on the Chelsea attack, and they've not looked great. They didn't look great last week, so kind of tripling up on that attack. I mean, the argument you could still captain Palmer. There's loads of reasons you should captain him against a poor defense. Chelsea are a good team as well. We've seen that in the past. So yeah, Palmer for me is in the captaincy debate at the moment. Rodgers, I'm really happy with Rodgers away to Brentford. I think obviously, it wasn't great, was it, from Aston Villa against Newcastle in the first round? But I just think, it is Newcastle. You can't go into a game expecting stuff from Villa. That Villa aren't an elite attack, are they? Like Liverpool's and the City. So you couldn't really go into that game, against Newcastle, even at home. Yes, Villa should have played a lot better than they did, but I still think that expecting too much of Rodgers was too much. And that goes for Watkins as well. But yeah, super happy to keep Rodgers. He's obviously fit now. Obviously had the knock, didn't he, prior to game week 1? But looking forward to see how he does this week. Wirtz is another one. We're going to have question marks, aren't we, after game week 1? I think it wasn't a perfect overall performance last week from a lot of key assets, really, was it? Even Salah was questionable. It was only till the late 90s that stoppage time that he nicked a goal. He didn't. But this is what Salah does, right? He always does this. He always doesn't look convincing, and then he kind of hauls, doesn't he, at the end? So yeah, I mean, there's question marks over a lot of players. Wirtz being one of them. Will Wirtz even start? I think a lot of Liverpool fans have questioned that this week, in the build up to this. Will he even start? Will it be on the left wing? Will it be in the number 10? Could he not start at all? There's a very realistic chance it happens. I mean, I personally think that Wirtz will start because I know we hear it a lot, he costs this much money. You can't bench a player who costs this much money. But I mean, maybe you can, but I just think Wirtz is too good. I get that every game's different, and Newcastle will be a totally different, totally different battle to what kind of Bournemouth offered. So I am slightly nervous about Wirtz going into this week. It's not just a fixture, is it? It's not just the fact that he might not start or might not get that many minutes or whatever. It's obviously the fixture's not ideal. Reinders, the star of last week, team of the week last week. What have I done now? Clicked off that. It's still fine. Yeah, so Reinders was obviously hit double digits last week for me. I was really happy, and anyone that did have Reinders was probably surprised. Yeah, get your questions in for anyone watching the stream. Just get your questions in, and I will answer them, whether that's captaincy debate or whatever. Just going from a team, yeah, Reinders, very happy to start him this week. I think you have to be careful on what to expect this week. You can't expect Reinders to kind of repeat what he did. He was amazing, wasn't he? He really was fantastic. What scores did we all get last week? Anyway, drop your scores in last week. I ended up on 55 points, which was kind of the average, wasn't it? Right? It wasn't too good. It wasn't bad. Quite happy with 55 points. It's a decent start, isn't it? I suppose. But Reinders was kind of crucial to getting that. To be honest, ridiculous debut, isn't it? Goal and assist. Got to Tottenham this week. So again, I'm not going into it similar to the Wirtzes and stuff. I'm not going into it expecting lots and lots of points. It would be nice to get something from him, but I think he could offer amazing value this. I can see why a lot of people have gone in for him this week. There's been so many transfers. I think over 1 million transfers for Reinders this week. I mean, if I had Anderson, I would probably stick though, just for a few matches. I think that was always going to be the case, wasn't it? The Reinders versus Anderson debate. It was who's going to be good long term. We know that Reinders can score goals and assist. But I think the issue with Reinders was obviously his minutes, whereas Anderson did well though. He got an assist, didn't he, in the last round? I think he had a big chance missed as well, so I think he could have scored. So he wasn't massively far off Reinders, I don't think. I think long term, I think if you counted their points up at the end of the season, they'd either be similar or one is just out of the other. But I think we're going to see hauls from Reinders and then kind of points ticking away with Anderson. So yeah, up front, Brentford Watkins, who plays Brentford. Again, no massive major issues with Watkins. I think obviously totally different opposition this week, isn't it? Brentford, they were just shipped 4 goals to Nottingham Forest. I actually didn't think that. I mean, Nottingham Forest going into the season, they scored what, 1 goal? Or who should I transfer Bowen? I really like Wood. I think if you're completely sure about making a transfer this week, I would probably look at Wood. I would probably hold Bowen maybe for now. Maybe give him a couple more weeks. But again, if you're fully decided that's it, then yeah, definitely go for Wood. Wood looked clinical. There was a lot of people saying that he wouldn't do it again, and he's just scored a brace. So what were his Nottingham Forest fixtures now? I'm pretty sure are good, aren't they? Let's take a look. So Crystal Palace away, which I think is quite good considering Crystal Palace just had a Conference League game. So, and they've got another game next midweek, right, as well, haven't they? So they've got Crystal Palace. They've got 10 games not 10 games, 4 matches within a 10-game period, which I think wouldn't have been a concern if Crystal Palace won comfortably last night, but they didn't. It was only 1-0, which makes me think they'll play, a fairly strong side. West Ham at home in game week 3. I think outside, other than Arsenal in game week 4, Wood's fixtures are really good for the next 5, aren't they? After Arsenal, Burnley away, Sunderland at home. You can't really get 2 better fixtures than that, right? Burnley away and Sunderland at home. So yeah, I think Chris Wood would be probably a prime target, I'd say. I mean, I'm even looking at João Pedro. I was just about to discuss João Pedro, and we expected the minutes, we expected the situation with the minutes, we expected him to come off around this, kind of 60th, 70th minute, maybe 80th. But we also expect him to start a lot of the games as well. And I think even if Chelsea like won 2-0 in the first round and it wasn't João Pedro who scored, I think people would be more convinced. But I think it's just the fact that obviously Chelsea didn't look that good offensively, did they? I'm not too sure what Chelsea created against Crystal Palace. I mean, Crystal Palace are a good side, right? It's a fairly decent defence. So I think when you look at the stats from the Crystal Palace game, Chelsea still created 1.6 XG, which is pretty good. They had 2 big chances. They had 19 shots. So Crystal Palace just did well, and obviously Chelsea missed the chances, right? Who would have? Was it João Pedro who missed I don't know. João Pedro had 1 shot off target and 1 shot blocked, but yeah, there was a couple of chances for Chelsea in that game. They just didn't take them, right? So even with the price changes, take a look. Let's take a look. I am assuming that you mean that Wood has got. I'm assuming that Wood's gone up, and assuming Wood's gone up and Bowen's gone down. I'm at a guess. Let me just take a look. Yeah, Bowen has gone down. Wood has gone up. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be. Yeah, I wouldn't be. Like I said, if it was me, I would be holding. I would be afternoon at Carter. If it was me who had Bowen, I would probably keep for now, right? I still expect Bowen to tick away. I still expect him to do well. How are you, Get Carter? How's your team looking for this week? I imagine you're getting ready for Serie A Fantasy as well. How did you do last week, mate? Yeah, so just looking at West Ham's fixtures, Chelsea at home, Forest away, Tottenham at home. I mean, they are tough fixtures, aren't they, for Bowen? They are tough fixtures. Even Palace at home, Everton are tricky. I can see why you started with Bowen, because that first Sunderland fixture. But I mean, maybe I would be siding with selling Bowen, because I mean, another bad game for Bowen against Chelsea, another good game for Ward, and we could see even bigger price changes, right? So I'm not totally against that. I don't think there's loads of strikers you can switch Bowen to anyway that are convincing. 66 points on the bench boost. Who did you bench boost? Was it wouldn't have bench boost the Burnley player? It's a good score. It's a good score because I only got 55 points and I didn't play a chip. So 11 points for bench boost, probably decent. You're probably happy with that, right? I'd probably be happy with that. Get points on the board. Free hit 2, wildcard 3-4, ultra aggressive. Yeah, I mean that is a fairly aggressive strategy, isn't it? I mean, I imagine free hit will be kind of based around Arsenal, will it? I imagine you'll have Gokaresh, Saka, maybe a Gabriel or someone like that. Thanks, mate. I'm going to do transfer now. Yeah, I think it's a good move. I do think I like the look of Wood. I was considering doing João Pedro to Wood, but kind of calm myself down a little bit. And yeah, I think it is important to be patient, but also recognise that West Ham's fixtures are quite tricky, aren't they? You know, it's a tough run. You know, Tottenham wouldn't have been tough originally, but obviously there's visible improvement since Thomas Frank came in. So yeah, happy with that transfer. Add Wood on bench boost. Oh no. No way. What a move. I mean, to be fair play to those who started with Wood, because I think there was a lot of doubt, wasn't there? As I mentioned earlier, Nottingham Forest, they scored 1 goal in pre-season. Wasn't looking good, but I mean, the fixtures are there, aren't they? Arsenal defence, Saka, Gokaresh. Yeah. I will show you my free hit in a minute. Get Carter. I'll show you my free hit in a minute, and I think it's pretty similar to that. Actually, should we just try and get my free hit up now? That would be my free hit this week. Or it wouldn't. It would be similar to that. Not far off that. Keepers 50-50. I don't mind Sanchez. Gabriel, obviously, Estev to cover the 200% EO that Burnley are going to have this week. To be fair, he looked really good, actually, against Liverpool. What did he... I'm pretty sure he had a good couple of balls, didn't he? He came close. He created pretty sure he created a couple of chances, potentially even a big chance against Liverpool. And obviously Bournemouth aren't playing Liverpool every week. Let's have a look. 1 big chance created. So he created 1 big chance. How many crosses did he put in? Oh, how many crosses he put in? He was really good, though, I thought. What do you make of that free hit, get Carter? Anything you'd change there? Bench isn't massively important, but I'd prefer maybe a couple of changes in defence, but fairly happy with Saka, Palmer, Rodgers, Semenyo. I think a lot of people would potentially debate Rodgers there, wouldn't they? But I just think, double Aston Villa attack still against Brentford. Watkins, a front three of Watkins, Evan-Nielsen, Gokaras, yeah. I mean, there's an argument for Evan-Nielsen as well, because I think obviously Semenyo is the star, isn't he, of Game Week 1? So I think you have to have him. There's a debate maybe over Evan-Nielsen, potentially changing Evan-Nielsen. Yeah, I'm not too sure who you get in midfield rather than him, though. So that is got Haaland in mind, no Palmer. Yeah, Haaland. Yeah, this is a no Salah and Haaland free hit draft. It's only because I wouldn't captain Haaland, just in case, because we're not quite sure what's going on with Tottenham. Thomas Frank yet. He could defend well, right, against Man City. Whereas I think with Saka, he feels like a standout captain himself. Or Gokaresh. Triple Arsenal attack against Leeds. Over the top against Everton after Leeds. Against Leeds after Leeds on a decent display against Everton. Maybe not. I don't know. What's different about this to yours, get Carter? Apart from Haaland, is it pretty similar? Have you got like a Bournemouth triple up? Have you got a Stav? You go for Burnley defence. So that would be my free hit this week. I will go back to this at some point. I imagine not a lot of people are on free hit this week. There you go. Back to my team. Still really annoyed that Konza got a red card, but I mean he is back after this week. Who is he back for? Who is Konza back for? Crystal Palace at home, good fixture. Everton, Sunderland, Fulham, Burnley. So yeah, I'm quite happy with Konza. I think that's why I still included Konza in a wildcard draft. I have got the wildcard draft here currently, so we will have a look at that shortly. Pretty happy with that team, though. Pretty happy with that team so far, anyway. Again, those in the chat, who would you opt for? Would you go for Sanchez or Dubravka? The only reason I have Sanchez at the moment is because Chelsea have been good, quite good-ish defensively. Sanchez in good form, but also I'm not quite sure about Burnley. They've got good odds to keep a clean sheet though, because obviously Sunderland looked really good, didn't they? Beat West Ham 3-0. So there is a decision to be made there, I think. Raya, Stev, yeah, Raya is a good shout. The only issue with Raya, I think when having a look at a draft, was that he blocked an Arsenal triplet. So I really wanted Gabriel, I really wanted Gokrash and Saka. Yeah, both got a Stev. Senesi, fair enough. Not far off, is it? From what I had in Triffett. 8-0 at the back. So City defender, City seem to be keen on City this week, with 8-0 and City and Haaland. Who are you captaining this week? Are you captaining Haaland, or are you going for an Arsenal attacker? Obviously not Palmer, because you won't have Palmer. So yeah, this is the current squad. There's a couple of I'm not too sure on. If we look at clean sheet odds, if we head over to Fantasy Football Community, this is a great site, by the way. It covers. You should be able to see the screen, okay? This pretty much covers FPL, UCL, Saudi Fantasy, MLS Fantasy, Fantasy EFL. It's a really great site, guys. I use this daily. I obviously contribute to this site as well. I would definitely advise heading over to the register tab at the top here. £1 a month, £12 a year. You get team reveals, weekly clean sheet and attacking odds for both FPL and UCL. So if you're going to sign up, I would definitely sign up soon. But in terms of the clean sheet odds, Burnley were on 40% at one point. Oh, it's going to do the whole capture, isn't it? Yeah, so I'm pretty sure Burnley were at 40%, which is quite high, isn't it? I mean, it is really, really high, 40%. So the odds suggest that, Gokrash cut. Really like that. I think I fancy an Arsenal attacker. If I had an Arsenal player this week, I would probably captain him. Whether that be Saka, Gokrash. Because I think Gokrash is on pens now as well, isn't he? I think that's the feeling that a lot of people are getting. Or at least, was it Swedish journalist that came out and said he would be taking pens? And then Arteta came out and said something that he was potentially the best penalty taker in the team. So, yeah, obviously Saka is still a great player, right? But the fact that he doesn't have pens is slightly off-putting. I'm still not too sure what to do. I think for those in the chat definitely should kind of advise me on who, or at least get your thoughts in about either Dubravka or Sanchez, bearing in mind that you already have Stev, who has good clean sheet odds. And then my other kind of debate is captaincy, right? Captaincy could be a huge debate this week. Please remember to like and subscribe. So get into the stream. Click on subscribe. Takes 2 minutes. Really thankful if you did. Hopefully, try and get to 500 subs. We want to get to 1,000 subs by the end of the season. I would love that. Would love to get to 1K subs by the end of the season. So yeah, it takes 2 minutes. If you could, I'd be super thankful for that. And yeah, also get your questions in while you're there. And there's not a lot of people in. That's fine. There's always so many people watching. A lot of the heavy hitters, Andy, Harry, and all that. So that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. So any questions, get in. I am also going to cover FPL Challenge this week. So we now have an hour and a half until the deadline. Plenty of time. Let's take a look on. See if we've got any news. Any leaks? Any news? Any leaks? I think it's too early yet, isn't it? A little bit too early yet to see any leaks. There's a few people captaining Palmer this week. I mean, I'm slightly tempted, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, Palmer's just not. It's not ideal. It's not appealing, is it? After obviously the first week. The first week was just not good from Chelsea. So let's take a look, because I think a lot of people will be rolling this week. Obviously, a lot of people playing a chip. Should we take a look at a wildcard draft first? This is if you don't use planfpl.com, not tempted by Wan-Bissaka. I am Christopher. Yeah, I slightly. I think what does it for me is how bad West Ham were. If you watch, by the way, this isn't my team. This is just a wildcard draft. Yeah, slightly. Let me just get off that for a sec to answer your question. Yes. Yeah, I am slightly tempted. That's why he's first sub. Obviously, Conza won't play in Gay. He hasn't really played any minutes yet. But I am slightly tempted. There's a couple of things wrong with that, though, playing Wan-Bissaka ahead of Porro, is that I have double attack. So having João Pedro, Palmer, and Wan-Bissaka feels like, and obviously Sanchez as well, that would mean having 4 players in one game. Just feels a bit too much. Also, West Ham were really bad, weren't they? I know it was it could have been a one-off and stuff, and Wan-Bissaka, he could do something against Chelsea, but I do think Chelsea are going to score this week. I think they'll score a couple of goals. I don't know if that's enough to make me captain Palmer, but I do think it's enough to put me off Wan-Bissaka slightly. He could get DAFCON though. He could. But then because I think Pedro Porro has DAFCON, set pieces, goal threat, right? From wing back. Could be defensively sound. Yeah, I am slightly tempted by Wan-Bissaka. Yeah, no worries. So yeah, let's go back to my wildcard. I had a wildcard draft up, didn't I? This is pretty much based on fixtures. So this will be my wildcard draft. I think I'd stick with Sanchez if you are taking gonna go for a wildcard this week. I would go for Sanchez. I think Reynaldo over Estav potentially. I know Burnley's fixtures get really bad. Should we just flick to the fantasy football scout ticker real quickly? I like Porro this week. Yeah, exactly. I think it's that. I think obviously, he's got so many routes to points, Porro as well, hasn't he? We could see him in a wing back role, which could get. He loves to get up the pitch as well. He looked really. Yeah, I thought he looked quite even more advanced than I thought he would against Burnley. I know it's Burnley, but just shows, doesn't it? He's still getting into those positions. So my wildcard draft would be similar to this. It's not too far off from what I've got now. Ronaldo over Estav, because Burnley have got tricky fixtures at some point. We will have a look at the fixtures shortly, because hopefully we can look at a potential transfer plan next week, maybe. Treffert. I like Treffert. I like the look at Treffert because he was also in my free hit draft, so you couldn't tell. Sticking with Murillo, great fixtures. Salah, Palmer, sticking with Palmer, Rodgers, Semenyo in. I think a lot of people avoided the Bournemouth assets, not just because of obviously their first fixture against Liverpool, but also the fact that they sold a lot of key players, didn't they? No one quite knew what they were going to expect from Bournemouth. Definitely not the performance they put in against Liverpool in attack. But Semenyo was just fantastic, wasn't he? And let's have a look at Semenyo. I know Semenyo scored a brace. He was just amazing, wasn't he? 2 goals, 2 shots on target. He also missed a big chance, so it could have easily been a hat-trick. And the Bournemouth fixtures are pretty good. I'm pretty sure Bournemouth's long-term fixtures are fairly decent now. Wolves, Tottenham, Brighton, Newcastle, Leeds, Fulham, Palace. So they are mixed, but I think for someone like Semenyo, who just, had a really good game against Liverpool, it's fairly good. I would wildcard him in. So he's definitely in. Reinders, obviously, I think a lot of people are looking for him. Watkins, Wood. Those are the strikers you want. You want coverage on the 7 point, round the 7 points. Obviously, Wood's gone up to 7.6 now. I keep Gay. I just dead off that spot. Konza will be back with good fixtures. I think Villa ranked near the top of the fixture ticker, the Fantasy Football Scout fixture ticker for the next few weeks, actually. And Pedro Porro, great option. I don't think he'd get into that team, though, that starting team. I'd probably play Reynaldo over him. Maybe that's a debate in itself. But yeah, that's my wildcard draft anyway. For those in the chat or new to coming into the stream and want to see a wildcard or free hit draft, then let me know and I will get it back on screen. But while we're here, let's take a look at the fixture ticker over at Fantasy Football Scouts. So this is the fixture ticker. It is ordered from game week 1 to game week 6, as you can see. The teams with the best fixtures at the top, obviously. The teams with the worst fixtures at the bottom. You can see that Newcastle are quite far down, as well as Arsenal. Hang on, that's not good. It's still got game week 1 fixtures in. Let's just sort that. Sort that out. Let's see if we can get that down. See that now, right? A little bit lower. Yeah, so this is there you go. It's a lot better now, isn't it? So this is the fixture ticker from Fantasy Football Scout, ordered from game week 2 until 6. I've ordered it till 6 because 5 fixtures, it's pretty standard, isn't it? You look ahead, 5-6 fixtures. You can look obviously further or take game weeks off or, pick out, delete individual game weeks. But yeah, this is the ticker. Brentford actually ranked near the top of the ticker. Now, those fixtures are quite good, aren't they? Thiago, how did Brentford actually do? Obviously, they got hammered. But if Thiago is, because Thiago took a penalty, didn't he, for Brentford? So I imagine that Wiss is going to go. So for those that are rolling, I would definitely get Thiago on the watch list. I just think those fixtures are really, really good, right? Yeah, really good. Not amazing, because obviously Villa's... I don't think anyone has got amazing fixtures. Really, really amazing fixtures. Maybe Villa. Maybe Villa should be higher than Brentford there, because, yeah. But yeah, I mean, Thiago, he's only... Did Thiago take a price rise? Not sure whether to stick with Cherky or take a hit and bring in Oscar Bob. I think Oscar Bob is also risky. I think anyone that's in any of the City attackers are quite risky. What I would do is I would give Cherky 1 more week against Tottenham, see if he starts. And if not, then you've used a transfer already. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't take a hit just yet. I think because you never know, right? Because you never know with Man City. Cherky could well start ahead of Oscar Bob. You never know, do you? I think Cherky could well start. There's nothing wrong with Cherky, is there? don't think he's got an injury. Yeah, so Pep Guardiola announced in a press conference today saying that Rodri and Phil Foden already nothing to do with Cherky, but a lot of people posting highlights of how Cherky was in training. So yeah, I mean, I would be looking to start. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it, isn't it? Because Pep rotates quite a lot, doesn't he? So I don't think anyone will be surprised to see Bob come out this week, Cherky come in, and maybe a couple of other changes made there. I think it's different with Reinders because he obviously had a great debut. They kind of need him at the moment, potentially. Maybe not with Roger coming in, but yeah, I definitely think that I would stick with that this week and then, you know, leave it as it is and then make a decision next week. If Cherky doesn't start this week, then maybe look at getting rid of him next week. But we're just looking at some potential transfer strategies for the weeks ahead. Brentford definitely a consideration. I think it would be worth keeping an eye on Brentford for those fixtures. Aston Villa, Sunderland, Chelsea, Fulham, Man United. I think those that already have lots of Villa assets, I have obviously Rodgers, Konza, and Watkins. I think is just stick. You just stick with them. I can see why you I can see why you kind of sold Konza this week. It's quite annoying when a player gets a red card. I think he's only out for 1 week though, so I probably would have held on and played maybe a sub, but it's okay. You've done it now. It's fine. So yeah, I mean you've got Dean, haven't you? Which is also a good option. So you're pretty set for them fixtures. Sunderland are also up. It's weird, isn't it, that you know Brentford, the Sunderlands, and stuff are ranking high on the fixture ticker there. Maybe not as convincing as likes of Villa, maybe even Chelsea, maybe Forest. So I really like the Aston Villa assets. Sunderland again, we've got they've got a couple of good fixtures in the next two, but I mean they beat West Ham, but can they maintain that? Again, if I was wildcard and you just saw my wildcard draft, I would probably have Reynaldo in. There's an argument for an attacker like Dingra. But yeah, and they're super cheap as well, right? So you can definitely bring them in. Bournemouth or Semenyo seems to be kind of stuck in my mind at the moment. Now, I wouldn't sell him. I wouldn't sell anyone for him just yet. I think that Wirtz, if he continues the way he does, obviously, but it's kind of a bit tougher with Liverpool because obviously, they play Burnley in game week 4. And I don't think anyone really wants to sell before then. I mean, they could. If he doesn't start this week, then I imagine we'll see a lot of people sell it. Yeah, guys, those in the stream, please remember to like the stream and and subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate if you subscribed. I've been told to say that quite a lot. And yeah, any questions, I will answer them. Any questions, whether it's benching headaches or captaincy or anything at all, long-term moves, anything like that, chips, you get them in. So again, just looking at Bournemouth, I really like Bournemouth. I think that fixture against Wolves, I think even Tottenham's fine for Bournemouth because Bournemouth was so good against Liverpool, weren't they? Scored a couple of goals. So maybe a team like Tottenham wouldn't be a massive put off from Bournemouth. They play Brighton as well. Brighton gone a little bit off the boil, it feels, over the past couple of seasons or so. Newcastle might be tough, and then they've got Leeds. So Bournemouth have got some okay fixtures there. Semenyo maybe defender. I think if I was free hitting or wildcarding, I would look to someone potentially like Semenyo or Truffert or Senesi, someone like that. So I think this is why it's important to save transfers. I think definitely, or wild card, like you can play a wild card, but I just think it's too early for a wild card just yet. I think it's potentially too early to make transfers just yet. I feel like I really want to kind of preserve my transfers, stockpile a few, or not even that. Maybe, maybe make changes to structure. I might want to, I don't know, upgrade Mark Gay, or, maybe make a move that I can't quite reach because of budget. Maybe get up to Bruno. Just an example. I don't want to buy Bruno just yet, but it's just an example. From Wirtz to Bruno, it would take 2 transfers to make that move because of budget, and price points and stuff. So I think having 2 transfers next week could be really important for a lot of people. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to targeting the weeks ahead. I think there's a lot of potential moves that someone can make. Obviously, you look at Nottingham Forest there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They are 6th on the fixture ticker, so they have the sixth best fixtures from game week 2 to game week 6. Crystal Palace, West Ham, maybe a laggy Crystal Palace side for Forest this week. West Ham is a good fixture. That Arsenal fixture is quite annoying, isn't it, for kind of people with Forest, because, I mean, from a defensive perspective though, defenders could quite easily get DEFCONs at Arsenal. Could it quite easily be 3-4 pointers, which isn't terrible against Arsenal, right? Is Wood inevitable? Could he score against Arsenal potentially? But it's just not a fixture you kind of look at and think. But I think, as a whole, Crystal Palace, West Ham, it's Burnley and Sunderland, isn't it, after Arsenal? I think a lot of people potentially going to see the Arsenal fixture and think, wow, that's really tough. I'm probably going to have to sell Forest, or I'm not going to buy Forest for that. But I would easily play defenders against Arsenal, maybe even Wood if I didn't have viable options, because those fixtures after that are just way too good, right? You could also look at Wolves too. Wolves have really good fixtures: Bournemouth, Everton, Newcastle, Leeds, Tottenham. I mean, Strand Larsen was so good, wasn't he? Good was Strand Larsen. He came close a couple of times, didn't he? Took a couple of big saves. Was it from Trafford? He was subbed around the 82nd. 2 shots on target. He looked lively though, didn't he? He looked really lively. He was in the box quite a lot as well, and that was against City. So, I mean, you can just imagine what he could get against the likes of Bournemouth, Everton, Leeds, Tottenham, potentially Tottenham. The only issue with Strand Larsen is that he's been linked with Newcastle, right? I think Newcastle are really looking to push for Strand Larsen. I think there was rumours of like 60 million, which is a lot. Ooh. Trying to look for Strand Larsen stuff. Yeah, there's Strand Larsen has been heavily linked, so maybe he's not the one to buy. Or he might be, right? Wolves don't want to sell Strand Larsen, which is obviously good. You know what, though? I think Strand Larsen for either side is good, right? For Newcastle, or for Newcastle, if he was leading the Newcastle line at 6.5 million, that is... Yeah, I mean, it's a must buy, isn't it? Or it feels like it, at 6.5. There aren't many good strikers at that price point either, is there? The 7.5s, obviously Thiago at 6 could be fine. But yeah, get your questions in. This is a Q&A stream, so any questions at all, I will try to answer. Really looking forward to the new round of football. Now it's Chelsea, actually. Obviously, as a Chelsea fan, Friday night football with Chelsea take on West Ham. Now, I'm not quite sure if we're going to get any leaks as far as lineup is concerned. I imagine, well, I'm hoping Chelsea. Now, if João Pedro isn't starting, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? What would people do if João Pedro didn't start? What would people do? Who would they get to? Because Wood is already up in price, isn't he? Wood is already up in price. Evan Nielsen, maybe. Because if João Pedro doesn't start this match, if we see that João Pedro isn't starting this match and Delap starts, then that is getting into risky territory for keeping someone at that price in, because he will feature. He will come on potentially for 1-pointers, similar to what Reece James did all those times ago. So if João Pedro isn't starting, I know this is all ifs and buts, but would it majorly shock anyone if João Pedro didn't start? I don't think it would. And if Delap starts and scores, then he might start the next game against Fulham there, right? And then the fixtures start getting not totally tougher, but a little bit, maybe not Brentford, but United I don't think will be easy for Chelsea. I don't think Brighton will be easy either. So you get into a point where, you're running out of good fixtures for João Pedro. So I think pre-planning a move like that is probably ideal. I don't particularly want to play Wan-Bissaka this week. I know I was tempted slightly. So yeah, I would definitely get a replacement lined up. I think a lot of people would rather though look to maybe if João Pedro wasn't starting this week, they probably want to hold him, roll the transfer, and potentially get Wood in using 2 transfers, because obviously Wood has gone up in price, so you can't make the straight swap from João Pedro to Wood without cash, right? You'd be 0.1 million short. So that is worth considering. It is definitely worth considering. So I wouldn't know what I would do if João Pedro isn't starting, because you're only going to get, if you hold on to João Pedro, if he doesn't start, you've got West Ham and then Arsenal for Forest. That's quite a tough one. I mean, there are any other strikers that we could go to. Yeah, we already mentioned Thiago, didn't we? We already mentioned Thiago at 6 million. Bournemouth 7 Nielsen is 7 million, so you could potentially go down to 7 million. I mean, this is all kind of speculation. We don't actually know if João Pedro is probably going to start, but you just never know, right? So yeah, a lot of good fixtures here to target. A lot of moves that I would potentially look at making further down the line. I did kind of like the thought of Bruno, but I mean, you look at those fixtures. Fulham, Burnley's obviously a standout, but I just really don't like Man City and Chelsea after that. I think if I had Bruno now, I would stick, but I don't think I'd be buying. I don't even think. Well, obviously, from my wildcard draft, I didn't even have Bruno in, so it's those fixtures. They're quite trappy, aren't they? You see the odd Burnley fixture. It's Burnley fixture, similar to Liverpool in a sense. Liverpool, different team entirely, and obviously far better than Man United. But you look at their fixtures there, they have Newcastle and Arsenal, but then they've got Burnley. I suppose they've got a row of Burnley, Everton, Crystal Palace. I think if Wirtz has a similar performance against Newcastle, Wirtz didn't drop in price, right? He didn't drop in price, did he? Pretty sure Wirtz didn't drop in price this week, or at least I didn't notice he did. If I didn't notice it, he's not dropped in price. So I think another dodgy performance from Wirtz, or another underwhelming performance, or if he doesn't start, I think he definitely goes down in price, 100%, because Wirtz's ownership is at 27%. That's quite high. Again, those in the stream, please like and subscribe while you're in here. Really appreciate those who have come in to watch. Someone's already subscribed, which is really good as well. Yeah, I really appreciate those who have come into the stream and got the questions in. I'm pretty new to this live streaming game. I think I did. So I did Club World Cup. I did a few Club World Cup live streams. I did also a Champions League fantasy live stream. You should check that out. It's for those obviously who watch, who play UCL Fantasy. Check it out. It's just me reacting to the prices basically, which was really good. I think a lot of highly owned assets are in trouble of dropping with 2 transfers after the deadline. Yeah. I think Wirtz is definitely one of them. If you kind of look at a lot of the, I mean, if God forbid, if Cole Palmer or João Pedro, you're right. We could see a lot of players drop this week. We could see, just going through the teams now, another poor performance from Villa. We could see Rodgers, Watkins drop. Same with Chelsea. João Pedro, Palmer could drop. Who else could drop? Bruno Fernandes is definitely in drop territory if he blanks or does nothing this week. Florian Wirtz, absolutely. Matata potentially. I'm not too sure. I would definitely say Florian Wirtz though. 100%. But I think also Frimpong, did he? I know he's out. I think he's out now until. So Frimpong is injured. I think Frimpong is pretty much out now until. Frimpong hasn't dropped in price. He's not dropped in price. Yeah. So. Yeah, a lot of players are gonna potentially drop. I think you're right. I'm hoping they don't, because a lot of the players that I don't want to drop are. A lot of the players that I think are likely to drop, or if they have a bad performance, are the ones I own. I think they're pretty much template though, aren't they? The Aston Villa double up in attack, the Chelsea double up in attack, Bruno Fernandes. I think those 5 players are at major risk. I mean, you could even argue the likes of Saka and Gokaresh. But they've got leads. If they don't perform this week, then. Higher Game Chronicles. Yeah, really good. Yeah, really good stream. How are you looking for Game Week 2? You all set? Any bench headaches or captaincy decisions to make there? Let me know. See if I can help out, or just let me know your problems. I'd love to hear what people's issues are this week, because I think my issues are mainly whether to start the Burnley goalkeeper over Sanchez and captaincy. They're my biggest kind of issues this week. So they're not really issues, are they? They're kind of like just small decisions. Quite lucky, to be honest. I've had no major, apart from Konza. That really got to me. He got a clean. I didn't start him. He got a clean sheet though. Konza got a clean sheet, but he got a red card. So. Yeah, this is those coming into the stream. This is my current team. I feel pretty comfortable with this team at the moment. I'm not fully convinced by it. Obviously, you can't be totally convinced after you just hit 55 points in the first week. Because, outside of Reinders, I just did a crazy wild card. I know I will regret it later, but did it anyway. I've got a wild card draft here, Chronicles. You can have a quick look at it if you want. This is what I would wild card. I don't know how similar our wild cards would be. Let me know if you've got any similarities to this wild card. I haven't really tinkered massively with it. I've not frozen. I'm still here. Yeah, this is my wild card. I'm still happy with Sanchez. Good fixtures. Reynaldo instead of Estav because of his fixtures. Treffert fixtures. Murillo, obviously Nottingham Forest. staying patient with Palmer, but ditching João Pedro. I think that would be the headliner on this wild card, is ditching João Pedro. I don't think there's any other kind of massive shocks here. I mean, let me know. What am I missing on this wild card? Haaland, maybe? Haaland? Would Haaland fit in here? Potentially. I do really like it, though. The only difference is from my team to this is Ronaldo over Estav, Treffer over Wan-Bissaka. Treffer over Wan-Bissaka, definitely. Similar midfield other than Semenyo. Who do I have in midfield other than Semenyo? Who do I have in midfield? Totally forgot. Someone good. I'm going mad. Wirtz. There you go. Yeah, Florian Wirtz. Which defender here would I play every week until around 6? I would play Murillo. I would probably play Murillo for Arsenal. Because I've explained earlier that I think he could probably get DEFCONs. He could probably get 3 or 4 points. Might even get a clean sheet. I like Triffitt's attacking threat as well. Pedro Porro would come back in, though. So Pedro Porro would come back in after City. Could play him this week. But Pedro Porro would come in and play most weeks as well. Konza would play every week after this week. So he's suspended this week. But then once he's back, he has Crystal Palace, Everton, Sunderland. It just has really nice fixtures. So in terms of that, after this week, I would play Konza every single week until maybe game week 8 where he plays Tottenham away. And then with Tottenham, I would play Pedro Porro every single week until Chelsea in game week 10, probably. So yeah, it's got a little bit. Your really quick wild card looks good. Realistic. Mine is kind of all over the place. I had Sasko, Gokras, Cunha, Evanilson. Yeah, it's really. I like Evanilson, by the way. Definitely don't write Evanilson off. I think maybe too much Man United there for my liking. Obviously, they've got a couple of good fixtures. I mean, I wouldn't be against one, Man United, for sure. I just think there's too much Man United there with Sasko and Cunha. Yeah, it's not far off. This wildcard is not far off my team. Like I said, this is why I wouldn't wildcard, because I have a lot of next week when I have 2 transfers, I could easily sell. I might not do that. Might not necessarily do this, but I could sell Florian Wirtz and João Pedro and bring in Semenyo and Wood, or they're the kind of options you have when you've got 2 transfers as well. Yeah, no, Man United were Haaland or Gokras captain. I think I'd be tempted by Gokras this week. I would definitely be tempted by him. I haven't even got Haaland on a free hit this week. I think Gokras, because I think he's probably got penalties for Arsenal, plays a promoted side, whereas with Haaland and Tottenham, yes, City are good, but we're not too sure how good Tottenham are going to be, are we? We don't know how good they're going to defend. They might not defend that well. We don't know. I'm waiting until the window shuts before using my wildcard personally. Yeah, I think it's team dependent, isn't it? So, if you feel like you've made quite a lot of errors at the start of the season, or you've took too many punts, then the wildcard may be justified before this window. But I just think that give your team a couple of weeks first, get in as much information as you possibly can, and then make a decision. Don't hit the wildcard button straight after the window. I would wait until next week. So, see how this game week goes. Look at your team. maybe on the Friday. When is the Game Week 3 deadline? I'm pretty sure the Game Week 3 deadline is Saturday, isn't it? Yeah, it's Saturday, 11 o'clock. I think so. Yeah, I would leave it. Even then, would have 2 weeks to play about with it after next weekend. Go straight into. Yeah, I think after Game Week 3 could be a great time to wildcard, couldn't it? Because yeah, you've got international break. It give you something to do, I suppose. But also, you know, we've had 3 game weeks of information there, which feels like better than 1 or 2, I suppose. Yeah, so I don't mind an early wild card. Like I've wild carded early before. So but yeah, in terms of the captaincy there, I would probably go for Gokarash. Yeah, I would probably go for that. Is again, that's my wild card. This is my free hit. For anyone wondering what a free hit would look like for me this week, there's probably a debate over Saka or Gokarash for captain this week in a free hit. I'm not free hitting this week, by the way. And if Isaac doesn't go to Liverpool, I'd think about with it to see if I can get Haaland in. Yeah, potentially, yeah, because City had a really good game week 1, didn't they? I mean, there's so many budget options in the game at the moment, isn't there? That you could easily, I think you could probably fit Haaland and Salah in the same team. No, it's okay. It was just in regards to the Arsenal captaincy. I think if I was free hitting this week, I would probably captain Saka based on probably minutes. I think Gokarash will probably play an hour, won't he? And then Saka maybe plays 80 to 90 minutes potentially. Depends on the score though, because if you know Arsenal could be 3-4-0 up by that time already. So that would be So that would be my free hit. Players I'm not too sure on. Maybe you could argue with Stav. I don't know, Treffert. Pretty happy with that 4 in midfield there. Potentially add a 5th on a free hit. I really like having else. I really like the Bournemouth double up this week because they were really good, weren't they, against Liverpool? But also, Wolves were bad against Man City. These essentials this week, I would say on a free hit. I would probably argue Saka. I want to still say Palmer. I still think Semenyo, Watkins, Gokarash. So there's a few there that I think are pretty essential this week. So I'm still on the screen there. Let's get that one on. So yeah, let's turn the free hit off. So that is my current team so far. Still slightly on the edge. Who should chat? Who are you captaining? In the chat this week. Who are you guys captaining this week? Just drop the name of your captain this week. I'm really interested to see who people are going for because it's quite open, isn't it? Newcastle for Liverpool, I don't think it's an easy game. Chelsea weren't great, but have West Ham. I know some people are probably going for Arsenal, right? I think a lot of people are going to go for Arsenal captains this week if going for a wild card or a free hit. I am going to do FPL challenge at some point. Just remember, if you are in the stream and you are not yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It takes 2 seconds. Hoping to hit 500 subs soon. 1k at the end of the season. I think that's a fair kind of target, isn't it? 1k subs by the end of the season. Not too sure how this YouTube game works. I've only just started, so I'm learning as we go here. Captain Salah, yeah, I'm on Salah at the moment. I just like the fact that it's a Monday night game, and I keep saying that shouldn't be an important factor. It's not an important factor, but it is kind of when you're not sure in a sense. I'm not sure who to captain this week, so it's those little factors, little factors between him and Watkins. Salah is going to be my choice. Yeah, the only thing that's putting me off Palmer. Well, there's a couple of things that put me off Palmer, and that's the fact that Chelsea didn't look great, and I suppose the same goes for Aston Villa. Although Aston Villa arguably had tougher opposition in Newcastle. And with Salah and with Liverpool, they obviously they were a great attack. They maintained better underlying attacking stats than any other team last season. So, and that seems to have continued, right? What did they do in game week 1 against Bournemouth? It was pretty much. I know they conceded a couple goals, so we're not kind of discussing defense because we don't really need to. It's all about their attack. So they ended up obviously with 19 shots. I think that was similar to Chelsea. Obviously more clinical. 3 big chances. Scored 4 goals from 2.21 XG. Overperformed slightly, but I still think that's really good, isn't it? 19 shots, 3 big chances, pretty good. I'm pretty happy, but I mean, just on the defense, I know we weren't going to discuss it, but Liverpool conceded 1.7 XG against Bournemouth, which is quite a lot. I mean, I nearly started the season with Van Dijk. Can't completely write them off, but Newcastle are a bit all over the place at the moment. And I think I think it could happen on the Newcastle point. It could happen, but I have so much kind of admiration for Eddie Howe. He's just such a good manager. Like Newcastle could lose half the team, and I still think that Eddie Howe would make it work, like pull off a tactical masterclass. They played really well against Villa to stop them. I've always really rated Eddie Howe. See João Pedro getting 1 points in Palmer type personally. I could agree on that one, because if Palmer is in a similar position than what he was in the last match, and we don't play him, on the right wing, then it's not great. I could easily see Palmer. Could easily see João Pedro scoring more points than Palmer. It's only minutes, isn't it? I think minutes is the is slightly off-putting with João Pedro and captaincy. Obviously, no pens, minutes. Same with Rodgers, right? Well, less so minutes, but no pens. I think Watkins is definitely in the captaincy conversation. I think in my team anyway, I know a lot of people will have, Saka and stuff. Hey, bench Fulkrug for one of Anderson, Ain't-Nouri, Esteve or Williams, or play him. Out of everyone on that list, I think I would play Esteve. If you look at the Burnley clean sheet odds this week, they are one of the favourites to keep a clean sheet. I know they got battered by Spurs, but Spurs are good. Hate to say it, it's a Chelsea fan. But they are, and I know Sunderland look good, but Burnley are used to playing Championship kind of sides, aren't they? So I think they do better against Sunderland. I think the odds are really good as well. I think they were like 30 to 40%, late 30s, 40% to keep a clean sheet. So, but it's not just that, is it? It's also, DEFCONs with Esteve. He could easily hit DEFCON. He could hit DEFCONs and a clean sheet, get 9-10 pointer. So, out of all of those players, I do really like Esteve. It also covers EO, right? Because I imagine Burnley defensive EO might be high with bench boosts and stuff this week. So, yeah, Esteve. You might not be sure about Esteve. If not, I think Williams is probably the next best option. I think that's a tight call that between Nico Williams. I know the only issue with Nottingham Forest is they are away. They are playing a laggy Palace, but they are away. It's a tough one. I think the decision is for me out of Nico Williams or Esteve there. I think Anderson probably concedes. And I think Ain't-Nouri probably concedes as well. I don't think Ain't-Nouri is a bad shout. You've got a hard decision there, but I would stick with Esteve. João Pedro struggles tonight. I think he'll be coming out for next week. Well, that is the issue, isn't it? Because if he doesn't do well tonight, and Delap does, then he might not play the next game. You're getting into kind of bit of a mess with yourself there, with João Pedro. But yeah, like I said, the option to, if you look at let me just get the Fantasy Football Scout fixtures back up. If you look at the fixtures there, Nottingham Forest have it easy, really, apart from Arsenal, West Ham, Burnley and Sunderland. I think a lot of, if Wood scores or gets an assist this week and João Pedro blanks, I think we could see a lot of people move from Chris Wood to João Pedro next week. So I think a lot of people have a pretty strong template, don't they, of players. I think a lot of people will still keep Watkins and Rodgers with the good fixtures. People will still keep Salah. There's a lot of players that people will still keep because of fixtures, but I think one of them who people might not keep is João Pedro, because obviously minutes, if he doesn't do anything in the first hour of a game, there's a massive risk. Hey, I meant, do I have to bench Fulkrug for one of Anderson and Stav, or play him one of the options? Yeah, I think I would definitely bench Fulkrug for a Stav or Williams. Yeah. Yeah, I would start ahead. I would start Esteve and Neco Williams over Fulkrug. I think that's what you're asking. I've not got it confused again, have I? Again, yeah, please hit the subscribe button if you are in the stream at the moment. Really thankful for those who have joined me tonight. Really thankful for the questions as well that you guys have got in. Hoping to do these streams as much as possible. It won't just be these, though. It'll be obviously the weekly team videos. You'll also get Champions League Fantasy weekly team reveals, and also UCL deadline streams, Q&A deadline streams. I imagine they'll be quite hectic. One of my favourite games, UCL, really is. I'm really looking forward to that starting. Lots of time before then, though. Lots to consider, and obviously lots more FPL, which I'm excited about. I can't believe we've only had 1 week. How did you guys do in the chat? How did you guys do in game week 1? I only got 55 points. I feel like that's quite average to low. I know Carter got 66 on a bench boost, but I'm not too sure what other scores you guys got. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the plan is to do Champions League lives, deadline streams, 100%. I wasn't going to do FPL originally, just because there are so many creators out there covering FPL live streams that, that originally the plan was to just do UCL fantasy streams, right? But yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing some UCL streams. You'll see my team as well, right? I never used to do team reveals for UCL, apart from over at Fantasy Football Scout. I got 62 points. Ooh, that's a really good score. Really good score. Who did you have? Did you bench boost Mishi, or did you just get more points from your starting 11? Because that's 7 points more than what I got. Did you have Wood? I feel like everyone who did well got Chris Wood. Obviously, he did really well, didn't he? Yeah, let me know who you got there. But yeah, I'm really excited for game week 3. Obviously, I think a lot of people might even leave their transfers until after game week 3, the international break. But it's not going to go. I don't think it's going to go swimmingly this week. Game week 2, it's not going to get. I don't think it'll get a lot better. I think we're going to see, potentially Disappointment. Potentially disappointment. No, I had Reinders and Nori. Okay. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people in the Twitter space had a Man City defender, so that's really good. So you would have got 9 points. Salah captain, 9 points for Salah. Salah captain, no bench boost. That's a really good score. I'd be super happy with that. I think that's on the higher end as well. I think 62 points is on like the high end of kind of the spectrum. I know people got like 80 and 90 probably with triple captains or whatever, but 62 points is pretty good. We are going to cover FPL Challenge at some point. We will cover that. Just take a look. Because the chat, I don't know if anyone... Does anyone play Challenge in the chat? I mean, if no one wants to see FPL Challenge in the chat, I won't cover FPL Challenge. I usually cover it though. But yeah. So definitely let me know if you want to cover FPL Challenge. Because we will. And I have built a team. Free hit thoughts. Eric, let me show you my free hit. I have a free hit prepared for people who want a free hit this week. And then I can come... Oh, one sec. And then we can take a look at... and then we can take a look at the differences between our free hits. So that would be my free hit this week. You have gone for Dubravka, Gabriel, Richards, QQ, Reinders, Saka, Semenyo, Rodgers. So you've got a similar midfield to me. You've got not far off. You've got Haaland and Watkins, Bruno. Yeah, so this is my free hit at the moment. The only reason I haven't got Haaland is because I wanted I wanted the double attack of Arsenal. I also really wanted Watkins. I also wanted to keep Palmer. So yeah, maybe really risky to go without same captain. Yeah. I do like the double up in the Arsenal attack though for a free hit this week. I think it's a good double up. I think the Villa double up's really good as well. Rodgers and Watkins. I can see why people will be put off one or the other. Probably Rodgers. I can see why people maybe go for just Watkins, but I just think Brentford was so poor in game week 1 that you just have to go for it. So yeah, that's my free hit. If you've got Semenyo, you've got Semenyo. I'm kind of on the fence. I already mentioned kind of on the fence about Evan Nilsson. So Evan Nilsson maybe take out, work some money around to fit in Bruno Fernandes. I think Bruno Fernandes is a decent shout as well. But Saka would be my captain this week if I had a free hit. Yeah, he could. He could. I think he could do really well this week. Yeah, this is my free hit draft. I think Gokarash could do. This is my free hit draft, and I think if I was free hitting this week, Gokarash would be locked. I think we've seen what he can do, haven't we, in the past? Maybe more so for UCL fantasy players or people who have followed Gokarash historically, but it's only a matter of time before he starts scoring, guys. I think it's only a matter of time before he starts scoring. Hi, Diego. You're a bit late today. You're usually first one through the door. Have you been busy? What are your plans? How's your game week 1 team looking? Game week 2 team looking? Or both, actually. How did you do in game week 1 and how are you set for game week 2? Yeah, I'd love to know, Diego, so let me know. Yeah, I saw a lot of 80 to 90 scores. Yeah, there was a lot of big scores this week, but there was also a lot of low scores, right? There's also a lot of low scores. I feel like 50 to 60. I feel like 50 to 60 is average. Among the template, that is. I think a lot of people with a similar team to mine, which is quite a lot, should be happy with 50 to 60. It's fine. It's a good start, isn't it? Yeah, get your comments in, Diego. Let's see, what have you been up to? How's your team looking? How did you do last week? Yeah, so this is current free hit. Did you have a Stav? Your comment's gone now. I'm not too sure, Eric, if you've had a Stav. I think he's weirdly, I don't know why, I think he's one of the best defender options this week still. With Gabriel. Gabriel definitely. Gabriel much better than a Stav, obviously, but don't rule out a Stav getting DAFCON's a clean sheet. Bullet header. Maybe. There's a couple of options on my bench here. I like the look at Brighton last week. I like a couple of their options actually. I like Jorginho Rutter. De Kuyper, obviously, he was a bandwagon. Hiya, Jamie. Who to captain? João Pedro. I would definitely not captain João Pedro as a Chelsea fan. I think even if he plays, even if he starts, I think he's only getting 60 minutes. I wouldn't put him in my top 4 captaincies. I think my top 4 captaincies this week would be probably Saka top, then Gokaresh. These are for mainly free hitters. And then it would be, and then it's tight. It's kind of tight from 3 to 5. I feel like it would be like Salah, Palmer, Watkins. I feel like they would be the 3. So Saka and Gokaresh at the top because of that Leeds fixture looks really good. But then, yeah, no Estev. I really like Estev this week. Also, a lot of people are going to be bench boosting Burnley defence this week, so EO could be high. I mean, not like EO really matters at this point, but I suppose it matters in a sense that the people around you, are playing chips, and they are the ones you're competing with, right? You're competing with the ones that are bench boosting, Busy at work. Yeah, that's fair enough, man. Hope work was good. Hope work went well. John Arias, but mine different format. Yeah, I do like Arias. Did Arias? I don't think Arias started in. Did Arias start in game week 1? I don't know if Arias started in game week 1. I don't think he did. I would have surely I'd know that if he did. Did he start? No, he didn't start. It was against City though, so he played about 20 minutes at the end. Arias. I don't think I'd sell Arias just yet though. Got an alright fixture this week against Bournemouth. Would you play bench boost with Dubravka, Dewsbury Hall, Anderson, and Van der Van? Probably not. No, probably not. I don't mind Dubravka. Not hugely keen on Dewsbury Hall, Anderson, or Van der Van this week. I think I would wait. Like, I'm waiting for game week 7. Game week 7 is an interesting game week, actually. And I don't know if that's for a free hit. I think I'm waiting for game week 15 for the bench boost because it's a big fixture swing. It's just near the AFCON transfer, so you can sort your team out after. You could, get really good options on the bench boost, and then kind of sell them with the free transfers ahead of the AFCON. Ahead of AFCON with the AFCON transfers that we get, the free AFCON transfers. A lot of big teams play weaker opposition as well. So, but yeah, I don't think I'd bench boost that this week. Yeah, do you know what? I really like both options this week. I like the Crystal Palace defence. Obviously, Nottingham Forest were fantastic last week, but they were against Brentford. The Crystal Palace defence looked pretty good against Chelsea, didn't it? So, I think if you're... Yeah, it's a tough decision. I really like Treffert. He looked really good against Liverpool. I thought he was really good. Lots of crosses into the box. He created a big chance. Should have got an assist. I'm not sure if he got DAFCON. Did Treffert get DAFCON? Worth having a look at. Did he get DAFCON? No, we got 0 points. 4 goals conceded. No DEFCON. It doesn't look great that he got 0 points last week, but he was against Liverpool. So, I mean, if Traffic was playing Liverpool this week, you just wouldn't have him in, right? But it's a good fixture against Wolves. Really good fixture. Is the fixture at home? Is Bournemouth at home? I think if Bournemouth are home, yeah, I like Traffic. For 1 week only, I really like Traffic. I don't mind him. Oh, I don't mind him long term, actually. Let me get rid of this free hit. Get rid of this free hit. It's the fixtures. Yeah, I really like Traffic for here. Bournemouth against Wolves, but then they've got Tottenham, Brighton, Newcastle. So I wouldn't maybe have him long term, but I would go for him this week on a free hit. I think I'm more like the Bournemouth attack than the Bournemouth defence, because Bournemouth have lost so many key defenders. I mean, I know I'm kind of arguing against my own Traffic pick here, but I'd still have Traffic for this week. But long term, I just don't think he's a great option. So yes, I would do that. I would probably get Traffic in for Richards. If I was free hitting this week, I would free hit Traffic in. But I'm really impressed with his first round. Get back to my team anyway. Let's have a look. Would help, wouldn't it? Yeah, again, just for those in the stream, definitely take a look at Fantasy Football Scout, Fantasy Football Community. Sorry, it's the basically sister site of Fantasy Football Scout. So much to choose from: UCL Fantasy, EFL, Bundesliga, Saudi Fantasy this season, MLS Fantasy, and we're also covering Serie A Fantasy. Let me get rid of that advert. It's quite annoying, that, isn't it? We're also covering Serie A Fantasy this season as well, which is the SofaScore version. So yeah, looks really good. Really good site. I would definitely use it. Obviously, team reveals. We also, for premium members, just £1 a month, you also get clean sheet odds, the graphics with every single clean sheet odds on, the best attacking return odds, the top 20 players, team reveals, challenge articles, loads of stuff on there. And that is just FPL. Are there any FFC premium members in the chat? I'd love to know if any of you guys have already signed up to FFC premium. So let me know. Let me know if you play any other games as well. Always interested to hear about people who play other fantasy games. This is my team at the moment. Again, I went through this at the start of the stream. I think my only couple of debates are primarily Sanchez over Dubravka, but the fact that I've already got a Stev puts me off the double defence, which I think will probably be the case for everyone. Some people may prefer to be a bit aggressive. And the other debate here is captaincy. But yeah, for me, Salah, Monday night. Don't really want to go early on Palmer tonight. Feels never back against Gandhi, as they say. Also, I'm also doubled up on the Chelsea attack, right? And it didn't go great last week. At least with Liverpool, they scored 4 goals and Salah got a goal. Chelsea didn't score at all, so slightly put off that. I'm looking forward to the game though. I'm really, really hoping that Palmer and João Pedro, do something, because again, I was mentioning in the Saudi League Fantasy. Yeah, one we're covering this season, Diego. Could be interesting. Yeah, so really looking forward to the game. Again, FPL challenge. Just if you guys in the chat, just let me know if you want me to cover FPL challenge. I will cover FPL challenge if you guys want me to. Just let me know in the stream though if you do, and I'll show you my FPL challenge team. If you don't want to see FPL challenge team, don't comment at all, and we can just kind of work out what we're going to do towards the end of the deadline. I don't really see any obvious moves in my team in terms of transfers. I would like to. Obviously, wood has already gone up in price, which is annoying. Is annoying, isn't it? Yeah, it is annoying because you need 2 moves to get to Chris Wood. So you'd have to roll this week if you want a Chris Wood next week. If he scores again, he's probably going to go up in price again, isn't he? Chris Wood is probably going to go up again, if he does well. No one want to see FPL challenge? I could just read just kind of discuss challenge quickly this week. No one wanted to see it on screen. FPL challenge this week is called the promoted. You're only allowed 1 promoted player from each team. So I've currently got the Leeds goalkeeper Roefs against Burnley. I've currently got Esteve captained. And then it's a 3-man midfield, Saka, Palmer, Semenyo, and then Watkins up front. So just the 2 promoted players this week. No Leeds. Obviously, Leeds play Arsenal, which isn't ideal. I've gone for Roefs over Dubravka because I think that Roefs has the potential to keep more save points. I think Burnley will probably dominate, have more shots. I think if it's a 0-0, then fantastic because I'll get Roefs clean sheet and I'll get 2 clean sheets for Esteve, and he obviously gets double points. But yeah, nailed in midfield 3 of Salah, Palmer, and Semenyo at the moment. So let's have a look at my team even more than we already have. Porro. I suppose another debate is Porro, isn't it? Another debate is Porro. But then he's got more routes to points than Wan-Bissaka, right? So good to see a couple of new subscribers in, guys. So really appreciate the extra subscribers there. Really do appreciate it. For those that aren't subscribed yet, please subscribe and like. 12 likes on this stream. That's pretty good. People watching thinking 12 likes isn't a lot. It's good. It's all right. It's pretty good. A few more subs in there during the stream as well. So yeah, really thankful for those. Should play Dave or Pedro Porro and Sanchez or Dubravka. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I would out of those choices, I would play Pedro Porro and Sanchez. It's because I am, I suppose. I'm really not keen on playing Wan-Bissaka this week. I just think that Chelsea are not gonna be bad again. They also play Crystal Palace. I said this earlier. Crystal Palace are a very good team, aren't they? Palace are a decent side. I mean, they showed that against Liverpool. They were quite leaky. Everyone seems to be scoring 2 against Liverpool at the moment, but it's still a tough side, Crystal Palace. So yeah, for me, on that one, I would play Pedro Porro and Sanchez as I have at the moment currently. I'm obsessed with looking at fixtures. So I mean, anyone want to see so my wildcard draft should be there on screen. For those looking to use the wildcard this week, that's my current wildcard draft. I will flick between a couple of screens now as we approach the deadline because we've only got 20 minutes. So that isn't my team on screen. If you're just getting in at the moment, that is just my that is just a wildcard draft at the moment. That is a wildcard draft, and then we also have a free hit draft for those that are free hitting this week. Again, I have gone through these, but I think just there are quite a lot of people coming in and out of the stream tonight. It's not the same people. It's quite a lot of people coming in and out. So obviously, it'd be kind of wise to kind of show you where I'm at in terms of both drafts, wildcard and free hit. So that's that. That is that. Football Scout, back to the fixtures. Fixtures are king. Fixtures are king. Get your questions in while you can. I will answer them. Get your questions in. I will answer them if you have any. If you haven't got any questions and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Please subscribe. You're getting a lot from me this season in terms of weekly team reveals, team selection videos for FPL. Also live streams as much as I can. In terms of FPL, but also UCL live streams and UCL weekly team reveals as well, which I'm looking forward to. Really looking forward to UCL this season again. The new structure went pretty well, I think. So these are the fixtures. I think it's always worth reminding people of the fixtures before they make transfers, because I can see how incredibly tempting it is. I can see how incredibly tempting it is to actually make a transfer or play a chip but I think once you have a look at the fixtures, you'll see in potential moves there. I highlighted early on the stream, but there's teams with really good fixtures coming up. Brentford being one. I don't think anyone would have invested in Brentford prior to the season, obviously outside of Kelleher. But Thiago has really come into the fold a little bit. Obviously scored the penalty against Forest, broke a lot of people's hearts who had Forest defence, but he is definitely an option. Obviously, if Wissa goes, he's on pans as well. He's scored a pan. I think he could be good value at 6 million. You then obviously have the Villa guys. If you're not on Villa, you probably should be soon. Bournemouth are very interesting, aren't they? Because they scored. Bournemouth are really interesting, actually, because they scored 2 against Liverpool and they look good as well, right? It's not just because they scored 2, but they genuinely look good. So I think Wolves ahead is a nice fixture. Maybe after this week, the Bournemouth fixtures don't look as promising with Tottenham, Brighton, Newcastle. So maybe that is a bit of a trap. I don't know. Chelsea's fixtures still look good for now. Nottingham Forest, though, I think a lot of people would have gone without Chris Wood. And I think he's a player who is definitely going to be on the radar of many. He's already gone it up in price, actually. Yeah, good evening, Gaddy. Good to see you in the stream. Looking forward to the football. Me too. Really, really looking forward to the football this week. This not just tonight actually, because it's an early game, but this week in general. Really looking forward to getting more points on the board in FPL. I'm doing really well, Diego. Doing really well. Really happy because it's took a while to get these streams up and running. It took quite a while to. There's a lot involved in getting set up and stuff like that. So I'm really happy with how it's all going. Obviously, not just with the fixtures, with pretty much not just with the kind of the UCL and stuff, but in general. In terms of my transfer and my cap this week, my transfer, I'm actually rolling a transfer this week. You guys can see my team. I am choosing to roll this week because I don't really see a major issue, and a lot of the players that I want to bring in have either gone up in price or I kind of want to give them a little bit more time. So I think in my team selection video, I said I wanted to give the likes of, Palmer, João Pedro, Florian Wirtz a second chance, another chance, not just a second chance, but, a little bit more time. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the UCL season, Gaddy. Really looking forward to it. My captain, by the way, is Salah this week at the moment. That could change. So, yeah, looking forward to the UCL Fantasy again. Really can't wait for that. Start two of Tosin Anderson, Porro, and Diouf. I wouldn't start Diouf. I probably wouldn't start Anderson, which leaves Tosin and Anderson, but I'm not actually sure. Let me just get up the news on Tosin. I'm pretty sure that it was revealed that that Tosin is ready for selection. Let me just double check that. I've heard that right, because I don't want to tell you to start Tosin if if he's potentially not ready. Need to find that out. Yeah, so just bear with me a sec. Yeah, Tosin is back from injury. This was a couple of days ago. He was in full training and stuff. There's a lot of people already predicting that Tosin will be in the predicted lineup. So I would definitely look out for news on Tosin, by the way. I would definitely look out for news on Tosin, starting, whether he starts or not and stuff. Definitely look out for news there. But yeah, I would start Tosin and Porro out of those players, buddy. Felipe, yeah, Captain Palmer. The issue with Palmer is that we don't know where he's going to play. Obviously, Chelsea fans want him to play kind of on the right wing, so he can kind of cut in on his left. But he's, that's not in where he's playing, which is not good, and it's where he's not good. So yes, Palmer can get routes to points via different routes. Obviously, he's on penalties and stuff like that. But last match he was predominantly on the left. Last week, sorry, which does put me off him. It does put me off him. I think he's just better on the right when he's playing predominantly right. Palmer played right against PSG in the final, ended up scoring 2 goals and getting an assist, didn't he? He obviously, I think, played predominantly right pretty much throughout the entirety of the Club World Cup. I'm pretty sure he did anyway. So yeah, I mean predominantly on the right, and he ended up 3 goals and 2 assists in 5 games in the Club World Cup. So it all depends on where Palmer's playing, doesn't it? I don't think he could score tonight. It's against West Ham. I just don't really like the early kickoff. I'm not massively keen on early kickoffs. But it's not just about that. It's about the fact that we don't know where he's going to play, being the biggest issue with Palmer. I think if I knew Palmer was going to play on the right, it would probably be more of a debate as to, captaincy. But again, I really like the fact that Salah is playing on Monday. So if you're having a bad week, you've got Salah. I'll have, in my case, I'll have Wirtz. But you don't want a captain blank on the Friday night, do you? It's just not good. It's not good for your health. So yeah, I think maybe the real debate from captaincy is Watkins. I think obviously we're expecting better from Villa this time. They're playing Brentford, who we know are bad defensively. I know we know West Ham are bad, but Brentford have, it feels like they've gone worse. So Watkins likely on pens, according to the Aston Villa fans. So I'm more inclined to go for, if I had to, I think I would probably rank captaincy. I'd probably rank captaincy as Salah top, then Watkins, then Palmer. Obviously, if we get the news that Palmer is playing right wing on the right, or position that we know he's good at, then Palmer would overtake Watkins in my eyes, but not quite enough to overtake Salah. I have both. Who do you recommend? I'll go between Saka and Holland. So I would be captaining players against Leeds this week. I think, yeah, I think I would definitely captain either Saka or Gokaresh. If I was free hitting this week, or I own Saka or Gokaresh, I would probably captain him this week. Obviously, Gokaresh is on pans, but Saka is. We know Saka, how brilliant Saka can be, right? He can really, really punish promoted sides. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, I know Leeds were good against Everton, but it's just Everton, you know, this is Arsenal. So yeah, I think Saka for me in terms of captaincy. If I had Saka this week, if I got to pick one player that I could bring into my team for free and captain, it would probably be Saka. Like I said earlier, I think captaincy is for me Saka, Gokaresh, Salah, Watkins, Palmer. You could probably there's an argument for Haaland up there, isn't there? He's at home, he's got Tottenham. But if I had Haaland, I don't know. Haaland maybe above Palmer. I don't think he's quite above Watkins. Will Estevao start for Chelsea? I hope so. I thought he was amazing in when he comes on. I thought he was really good. I think he showed. I think he is better than Gittins in my opinion. I've watched Gittins for a couple of years now. And Estevao is just brilliant. You know, he looks brilliant. He's only young as well. I would start him today. Him starting though would mean likely he starts on the right, Nato on the left, Palmer, and then in the number 10. But yeah, I don't see us benching Nato much. I don't think Maresca benches Nato much. We're going to see a lot of rotation between those wingers. That's the issue. Sat on free hit, made the change from Richards to Truffett. That's Eric. Yeah, I like it. I like the move. I mean, what could go wrong there? What could go wrong? So we all sat, guys. Are we all happy with kind of decisions we're making? Are we all happy with captaincy? Are we all happy in general with our teams? Just to kind of go over FPL challenge again. I know a lot of people don't play it, but my FPL challenge is as it stands. Roeth's the Leeds goal. The Sunderland goalkeeper. In goal, I have Esteve as captain. It's double points for promoted picks this week. Really excited about challenge. I know not a lot of people play it, but I really like it. Midfield of Saka, Palmer, and Semenyo. If I was having a free hit or wild card, if I was free hitting this week, Saka, Palmer, and Semenyo would be in all of them, so they're in challenge. And Watkins as my only striker. That is challenge. So any more last minute questions, get them in. Really thankful for those who have stayed for the entire course of the stream. Really, really happy. Really happy with the questions that we've got in as well. So been quite an active stream. Lots of people in and out. There's only 5 minutes left until the deadline. If you could hit subscribe while you're there for lots more live streams, lots more team reveals, lots more UCL stuff moving forward, then I would really appreciate it. I'm not going to get to 400 tonight because there's only a few guys in the stream now. Too many big content creators recording at the same time. That's the issue. Too many big ones recording when I'm recording. All good though. Yeah, definitely hit subscribe. Definitely hit like. Really thankful for those who have subscribed and liked already. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is my team. As if my team has not been on the screen. Sorry about that, guys. There you go. As if my team has not been on the screen this whole time. Really sorry about that. So, this is my team. I can't believe I just had a free hit on for that long. Was it a free hit? No, I think it's a wild card I left on the screen. I don't know what it was. No, it's a wild card. This is my current team, though. What do you guys think about it? Is there anything that you would change from my starting lineup? Is there any big changes that you would make? I'm reasonably happy with this. Really, really happy. I'll be happy, and then when Palmer scores a brace tonight, I'll be like, why didn't I captain him? Why didn't I captain him? But it's because he hasn't been good positioning. I think the best he'll do tonight is if he's playing where he has been, I think the best he does tonight is like an assist or at best a pen. But if he's on the right wing, have we got any news actually? Have we got any news about lineups? Have we got any news, guys? Any early Chelsea news? Drop it in the chat. Drop the news in the chat if you've seen any, or if you've got any, or if any has kind of come up. I should probably love it. Start Sasko or Richarlison. Definitely Sasko. Definitely Sasko there. Yeah, same front seven. Really happy with the front seven so far. Let's see how Virts does though. I'm just gonna get my, because I try to do a post before the game updates on Twitter, so I'm pretty sure this will be my team. I'm pretty sure this will be my team. Let's update X on my team, and then all good. Just writing a post, guys. Move in a sec. Rolling the transfer this week. I say this, but I'm gonna post my team now actually, and then it could change if the lineups change, right? Saying that, if João Pedro doesn't start, someone said João Pedro starts, Palmer, Sanchez, Cucurella start. How are you seeing this news, Gaddy? I can't see any. Let me check my group chats. Let me check group chats. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'm not really seeing any Chelsea news so far. I don't have to do challenge yet, which is fine. Let me just check other deadlines, because I do EFL and all sorts of stuff. Right, there's no champion. I'm not playing Bundesliga Fantasy this season. I'm not playing La Liga Fantasy. So the only games I need to worry about is FPL, which is nice. It's always nice to have one deadline to have to worry about. I'm not seeing any Chelsea news. I'm not seeing any more. I'm not seeing any Chelsea news on my page, I'm not seeing any Chelsea news at all, which is annoying, because Gaddy, where are you getting this news from, buddy? You've definitely got it from somewhere. I do trust you, don't worry. I do trust you. Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it? It's deadline time. It's deadline time. 1 minute until the deadline. Are we all happy with our moves? Lots of silent captains, a couple of Cole Palmer captaincy. There's also a few. Focal has gone for Palmer captain. See who Harry's gone for. Harry has gone for FPL. Harry has gone for I think FPL Harry's gone for Salah as well. Focal going Palmer is interesting though. It is really interesting. The game week has gone. The game week deadline has gone. So I'm pretty sure. I really like looking at whoever YouTubers have captained and stuff. Who did Ross go for? Raptor went for Salah. Focal has gone a bit rogue. With Palmer. Who did Harry captain? Was it Salah? I imagine it's Salah. Anyway, so guys, really appreciate your time on the screen, on the stream. Again, before you go, please hit the subscribe button if you can. Would really appreciate it if you hit subscribe. Really appreciate it. And good luck this week. Again for challenge, I've gone for. Let me just read out challenge one more time for those that, because I didn't get it on screen today. For challenge, I'm starting Palmer tonight. Obviously, that could change if you know he's not starting, which I think he is. Roeth's in goals, Sunderland goalkeeper. Esteve in defence. He's my captain because it's double points in for promoted sides. Saka, Palmer, Semenyo in midfield. Watkins up front. That is challenge, guys. That is my team for game week 2. I am really, really looking forward to some football this weekend. Just let me know. Let me know in the chat if you've made any last minute changes. Great stream as always. Thanks, Diego. I'll probably leave it there then. And I'm really hoping that you guys can make it to next time. So until next time, guys, I will see you soon. See you later, guys.